Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. This is Sarika. I hope you guys are doing well. I am doing well too. If you are visiting first time in my channel, thank you for visiting. I really appreciate you guys are commenting, liking and sharing. Thank you for your support. Today I am going to talk about the living in China and living in USA. In most of my video, I get comment like why I always compare with India, why don't I compare with USA? So the reason behind is if you live in country, you can share the experience while living. But for me, I never live in America, so for me it's very difficult. How can I share my experience if I have never been to that country? First of all, it's not about comparing any country, it's just the sharing the living experience, what you feel while living in any country and what you see in media. So it is just sharing our experience. Since I have experience living in India and now I am living in China, so I can tell the differences. You cannot judge any country or say anything about any country unless you've been there and have a kind of experience. Of course, the living experience differ in every country. Every country have a good and bad things. No country is perfect. That's why in today's topic I have invited my friend who is an American and who is living in China as well. Let's see what his opinion about it.
Yo, this is Ben Cubbage from Elevated Trips at elevatedtrips.com. I'm a tour guide and adventurer on the Tibetan Plateau in Western China. Been there for 13 years, and for the first time in 5 years, I'm actually in America. You can see this American style house behind me in Seattle, Washington. And as I'm in America, I haven't been here for 5 years because I've been locked out due to COVID restrictions in China, as China has been totally closed. China has opened now in 2023, and we are in America, and we are quite surprised by how America has changed. So obviously there's a lot of differences between America and China. So I just wanted to chime in a little bit here. And as I'm in America for a couple months visiting family for the summer, just wanted to show some of the differences. Obviously, one is behind me, which is that people live in individual houses, which they don't in China. I'd say almost 90% of the population in China lives in big 30-story, 40-story apartment buildings, which are super urban. That's largely due to the population difference in America and China. America has 330 million people. China has 1.4 billion people. 4 times the population of America, and almost the exact same size of geography. So Americans tend to have land and be quite individualistic in their housing, and Chinese tend to be quite communal in their housing, living basically on top of each other in large cities. So that's one difference between America and China that I'm noticing. Speaking of that individualism, which really characterizes a lot of the things, a lot of the differences between America and China culturally, is gun ownership. And that's a really big hot topic right now in the media. And of course, there's zero guns in China. No, there's no private gun ownership in China at all. And in America, 25% of the population owns a gun. In fact, about 50,000 people every year die because of guns in America. So gun ownership is can be a problem. I know a lot of them are used for hunting and such things, but in China, the average individual citizen would not think to own a private gun or even, go hunting or anything like that. So that's a big difference. And we've been in some pretty rural communities in America that all have many guns. And some of these homes have 5 or 10 guns locked away in a safe. And it's just something that you would never really see in China. As I mentioned, America is a really different place than when we left it 13 years ago when we moved out to China in 2010. And one of the ways it's really different is just that safety issue. And that often happens a lot of times when I'm riding in a Chinese taxi. The taxi drivers say, oh, America's not very safe. I've heard there's a lot of gun shootings and things. And that's actually become very true. While statistically, gun shootings in America are still quite rare, I was out on July 4th celebrating America's Independence Day at a fireworks show, and I just kept thinking, is there going to be a mass shooting here? Of course there wasn't. We were safe and everything went as planned, but just that thought, that the fact you can't go out to a mall or public space or a school without thinking, are there going to be guns here? That's a big deal. Now, a lot of stadiums like baseball stadiums and professional sports stadiums and even malls and schools are requiring that kids have a fully clear backpack so they know that the guns aren't being brought into these spaces. And that's not just for kids, but that's also for adults. So that tells me that guns are a big problem here, and people are really conscious of these mass shootings.
I'm sure now you have got an idea how is the life in China, how is the life in USA, what are the differences, what are the things in USA, what are the things in China. I hope you have liked this video. If you have liked this video, please subscribe to our channel. I will see you in the next video. Till then, bye bye.